Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. If you have not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to 100 subscribers here on the YouTube channel. We are getting so close. Any amount of support you guys leave on the channel means the absolute world to me and helps boost the channel so much. And if you love rankings, you love reactions, you love anything to do with the sports world at all, I answer your guys' questions as well right here on the pod every single Wednesday. So if you love any of that, make sure to hit that subscribe button because it's all right here on the Talk of the Town podcast. Let's get right into the video here today as we're back with another Top 10 Tuesday here on the YouTube channel. It's been a few weeks. It's been a few weeks since we've done this, and it's been over a month. It was like my first Top 10 Tuesday since I've ranked the top 10 teams. Again, we are doing this every single Tuesday for the next 19, 20 weeks or so now. So get ready because I'm sure you guys are probably going to be pretty pissed off at me every Tuesday. You think your team is doing good and I don't put them on there. I'm expecting to see a full thing in my comments about it, and I can't wait to see it. So let's get into it here today. My first team here on my top 10 teams, I have the Los Angeles Rams. I moved them down 3 spots from previously where I had them last time. I had them number 7. The whole thing with the Stafford injury going into training camp and everything is a little worrisome to me, to be completely honest with you. Even though he's been fine the last couple of weeks, older quarterback, back injury. If it was like, I don't know, hell, if it's like a pinky injury or something, I could get over it. But back injury for an older quarterback who has a history of nagging injury issues, yeah, it's definitely worrisome for Matt Stafford. I'd definitely be concerned there if I was a Rams fan. That drops him down for me. I wasn't going to quite knock him out of the top 10 because I didn't feel quite comfortable doing that yet. I don't want to knock them out based off the fact that I think it's going to nag him all season, because if it doesn't, this team's going to stay in the top 10. So I'm going to keep them in the top 10, but definitely worrisome a little bit. But they don't really have any other injuries so far. So the team looks good. And that's really what matters. And Stafford's practicing, so that's why if Stafford still isn't practicing training camp, this team would not be in the top 10 still for me. I'd probably have them maybe 12 or something. I mean, they'd be pushing out of the top 10 nearly every day that Stafford does not practice. I like Jimmy Garoppolo, but he's not Matt Stafford. That team is not getting anywhere where they would without Matt Stafford with Jimmy Garoppolo. So, yeah, move them down 3 spots to 10. We'll see what happens with the Rams this season. Number 9, I have the Washington Commanders. I actually moved them down 3 spots previously where I had them, but you're probably like, well, why? They re-signed Terry McLaurin. One thing that's an issue for me is a running back room. They traded away Brian Robinson, who wasn't a great running back at all, but he was a decent running back, serviceable. Now you're kind of stuck with Austin Eckler. I forget the one running back they're all kind of banking on. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan at all. That puts Jaden Daniels more in a position. That puts a lot more pressure on him as it is already. You want to have a good running back. You just do. I don't care what team you are. You need a good running back. Austin Eckler is not very good anymore. Like, might be okay. From when he sustains about 3 injuries a season anymore at this point. And he's a completely different player. He's never been a good running back. He's been a great pass catching back. Just kind of tells me all you need to know. This Commanders team is going to be passing, and that means Jaden Daniels is going to be running a lot more. That means putting your quarterback at risk, who already has a slim frame as it is, to be completely honest with you. I don't care whether or not it's Cam, it's Josh Allen, any beefy quarterback out there running in the middle of the field, Big Ben, anything. You don't want your quarterback getting hit. More or less than Jaden Daniels, who already is not a very big quarterback. So one of his main flaws coming in when he was getting drafted last year was, okay, this dude is not very big. He's very slim framed, and he he may have filled it out a little bit. He's never going to be a big burly quarterback. Just not who he is. He has that slim frame. I have that slim frame. I go to put on muscle, and I kind of have lean muscle, but I'm never necessarily going to be just kind of popping out of my shirt. You know what I'm saying? So that's just who he is. That's his frame. And you don't want to put your quarterback more at risk, and I feel like the Commanders could be in that position. I love the McLaurin signing. The team's aging, which is odd enough for a team that's rebuilding. They're one of the older teams. I think they might be the oldest team in the league. So, I don't know. You're kind of banking on an older Bobby Wagner to really kind of carry the load on your defense, and the older, injury-prone Marshawn Lattimore. So, I don't know. The Commanders, I think the Commanders could be very disappointing this year, to be honest with you. They're still top 10 on my list, but I've had some debates the last couple of weeks putting them down on the list. I wouldn't be surprised if this time next Tuesday, they're not in my top 10. Or maybe not next Tuesday, but in a few weeks. This is a team I can be very comfortable with moving out of the top 10. That's all I got to say. Commanders fans may not like it, but I think they could be gearing up for a disappointing season. I have a weird feeling for it. Number 8, moving up, 2 spots on my list. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A little bit of a tongue twister there for me for a second. But yeah, I love their offense. Their offense is one of the best offenses in the NFL. The receiving core, Mike Evans, whether or not he has that same burst he had a few years ago, is up for debate. Whether or not he's just consistent. Mike Evans has never been a guy like a Tyreek Hill who fully relies on their athleticism. Mike Evans is a go up and grab it, just a consistent catching receiver. He does have a few really boneheaded drops throughout the year. I've always noticed that with Mike Evans. Like at least like 1 or 2 catches throughout the season is like a big 80-yard play for him that would make him like a 1,100, 1,200, 1,300-yard receiver, and he just drops it. Just goes fumbling out of his hands on the ball, goes 5 yards in front of him. So I don't know if you guys have noticed that too, but I've noticed that with Mike Evans. Godwin's coming back. Ibuka, I don't know why I pronounce his name like probably 300 times, and I got on the podcast, I can't pronounce it, but you know what I'm talking about. I like Cade Otton. He's a pretty underrated tight end to me. I really do like Cade Otton a lot. Their secondary, I think I would have liked them to maybe do a little more within the offseason, but having a defensive head coach, I think can maybe patch up that secondary just a little bit, to be completely honest with you. If they had like a Ben Johnson and head coach or something, then their defense would have to be solely reliant on the defensive coordinator, which it kind of is anyway. But when you have a defensive head coach, your defense is really your main point of the team. And whether or not it has the talent, they're going to play better than what they are. So having Todd Bowles for that definitely makes me feel a little bit better. Their defensive line is really good. I love their offensive line. I think Tristan Wirfs is going to be out for a little bit. Little worrisome, but Baker moves well. Baker takes hits. So he's a pretty strong quarterback for guys like 6 foot tall. So yeah, and I think Baker's going to have a borderline NFL season, or excuse me, MVP season. So, you know, I think the Buccaneers are going to exceed expectations, to be completely honest with you. Number 7, moving up 2 spots as well, the Denver Broncos. I really like their draft. I think one thing, kind of like the Bucs, I would have liked to see them do, except it's not upgrade their secondary, because that's what the Broncos did in the draft, their first round pick and everything. I would have liked to see them upgrade their receiver room. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm getting like all these tongue twisters. Upgrade their receiving room. That's kind of hard to say. Try saying that 10 times fast. But I like Cortland Sutton, but I would like to maybe see a little more. They did get Evan Ingram, which I think is a really good signing. It's not a signing that's been talked about enough heading into this season, but I do really like it. Evan Ingram kind of had a down year last year, but you got to remember the last couple of years he's had. He has really finally broke out to the tight end he was supposed to be with the Giants. Yeah, he had some catching issues with the Giants. People called him Butterfingers and all that, respectfully so. He couldn't haul in a pass at all, really. It looked like his career was heading down to be a bust. He went down to Jacksonville, revived it with Trevor Lawrence, and I think he has a chance to do the same here with Denver. Keep that pace going as being, I mean, he was widely regarded as like a top 5 tight end, so I think he'll keep playing like that with Denver for a few years, and I think Denver really got a good receiving tight end. So good for them. Denver's roster, their defense is really good. Sean Payton's really well as a really good coach, really coaches the team well. And yeah, I think the Broncos are actually going to be very good. Number 6 moving up 2 spots, borderline top 5 team. I have the Green Bay Packers. I think obviously we know why this team has moved up 2 spots from 8 to 6. The Micah Parsons trade last week was absolutely massive for this team. Their defense took that next level. Now, their secondary leaves a little bit to be desired. With some of these teams in the top 10, they definitely need a buff to their secondary. I think the Packers definitely do. I think they could draft it, or well, they don't have their first round pick, but they need to go out and get another cornerback, especially after losing Jair Alexander. They had Jair Alexander, man. I think people be talking about this team different. People are like, well, they don't have a corner. They don't have this, which is true. they don't necessarily have that number one corner kind of stick out guy. What do they have? Hobbs, I think. But do people really think of him as a top 10 cornerback? I don't know. But yeah, I have the Packers up at number 6. They're a borderline top 5 team that we're really going to see the ceiling of Jordan Love this year as he's headed into his 3rd year as a starter. It's kind of funny because you don't think of him in that draft with Joe Burrow and all that. You kind of forget he was in that draft because he was on the bench for so long. But yeah, we're finally starting to see him break out. He's not injured like he was last year. Number 5, moving down a spot, is Kansas City. People are not going to like this, but last week, for one, Travis Kelce's definitely done after this year. After the engagement with Taylor Swift, I think that was kind of the nail in the coffin for Travis Kelce, to be completely honest with you. He's moved on to the point where, yeah, he's focused on football and he wants to win another ring. Does he really care? I mean, he's a celebrity now at this point. He's engaged to Taylor Swift. I mean, Taylor Swift's a billionaire, so technically, I guess he's really a billionaire too. I mean, he's made millions of dollars in his career anyway, tons of fame just from being one of the greatest tight ends of all time. I've seen people say they think they're going to see Travis Kelce have a productive year. Now, I don't necessarily think he's not going to have a productive year, but I think if people are thinking he's going to have a resurgence year, I don't think that's going to happen. I think between his age and he's just moving on to a different aspect of his life. I'm kind of surprised he didn't retire this year, to be honest with you. But especially after the engagement with Taylor and all that. Now, that's not the reason why I moved this team down. The Rashee Rice suspension for 6 games, kind of rough. The team won a lot. They were like 11-1 in one-score games, like 10-1 or something crazy like that. That's not going to happen again. That is absolutely not going to happen again. They did lose some players on defense, but they did manage to upgrade the offensive line a little bit. They did end up taking Trey Smith and stuff, so good for the Chiefs. But I don't think the Chiefs don't feel as good as some of these other teams. Now, that being said, they're still a top 5 team in the NFL. Whenever I say something about the Chiefs fans kind of seem to go crazy on me saying, well, people have been downplaying us for years saying we're not going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying the Chiefs aren't going to make the playoffs. I saw them ranked as a top 5 team in the NFL, but they don't feel as good as these other teams. Like number 4, the Detroit Lions. I really like the Lions. A lot of people are down on the Lions. Hutchinson coming back. And kind of speaking of the Packers a couple rankings ago, people are probably like, well, why aren't the Packers over the Lions? I had the Packers winning the division now with Micah Parsons. Aiden Hutchinson was on pace to have a record year last year. I really like Aiden Hutchinson. I think he is just as good as Micah Parsons, to be completely honest with you. And if you don't think he's as good as Micah Parsons, I understand. That's just my preference. That's my view. But he's at least near the player. You can't deny the dude's an all-pro level player. I mean, he was just on an absolutely historical pace last year. They have players coming back from injury. And yeah, they may have lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, but the players they have are ridiculous. They may not have, the crazy schemes, the plays we haven't necessarily seen, just hat trick plays. They may not have that, but this team's loaded with offense. You don't need to have multiple hat trick plays to keep your offense sustainable. That's what people think with the Lions. Well, they lost Ben Johnson. Is the offense even going to be the same? Dude, look at the offensive line. Look at the receiving group. They still have Laporta. They have Amon-Ra, Jamison Williams. I mean, they're just loaded. Jahmyr Gibbs. Do you really need Ben Johnson to make that offense look good? Like, to even look serviceable? People are acting like it's just over for the Lions. Bro, no, absolutely not. The team is just absolutely loaded with talent. And while people may be down on Jared Goff, especially after his playoff performance, is Goff even a great quarterback? The debate's up there whether or not he's a great quarterback, but the dude is a good quarterback at least. And he has great games. His playoff performance leaves some to be desired sometimes, but yeah, I think the Lions are easily going to make the playoffs. If they don't win the division, they're easily going to make the playoffs. I have them winning the division. They almost feel like a sleeper team again. They do. Number 3, I have the Bills. They stay where they're at. Oh, by the way, for the Lions, they did move up a spot. They were number 5 where Kansas City was at, but now they're 4. Number 3, I have the Buffalo Bills. Again, 3, 2, and 1 are all the same rankings as they were last time. The Bills Josh Allen in his prime. They did sign Joey Bosa, which could end up being a good signing, or it could end up being like a Von Miller signing where it absolutely led to nothing and it felt like he never played. It never really felt like he was on the field. That signing's going to go two ways. You may get maybe another year or two out of him, or you may get absolutely nothing. So I don't know. I'm not making a big deal of that signing. Josh Allen in his prime probably gives that team easily eight plus more wins. That team honestly would not be great without Josh Allen. That's why sometimes I'm a little skeptical on the Bills. Like, what if Josh Allen has kind of a down year? Not saying he is, because he's in his prime off an MVP season. I don't think he is at all, to be honest with you. But what if he does? That team is going to be very disappointing because that team is kind of just Josh Allen. Some rumors about Sean McDermott on the hot seat, so you don't necessarily like hearing noise like that heading into the season for certain teams, which sometimes it kind of makes it hard for me to put the Bills at 3, but that's where I got them. Number 2, the Ravens. Number 1, the Eagles. I think these are the two most interchangeable teams that are on this list. If you want to put the Ravens at 1, I'm not going to argue. If you want to put the Eagles at if you want to keep the Eagles at 1, I'm not going to argue. If you want to move the Ravens at 1, I'm not going to argue. These are my 2 Super Bowl teams. I think we're going to have an Eagles and Ravens Super Bowl. My personal opinion, at least before the season starts, both teams healthy. I don't see how those two would be in Super Bowl. So that's where I got them. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think the NFL Top 100 at least contains 20 Eagles and Ravens players, it seems like. And there's just a million of them on there. Loaded rosters. And I think Lamar wants to win a Super Bowl. He's been wanting to win one, but there's more pressure on him than ever. The whole organization is on the line for the Ravens this year. So that's my top 10 teams in the NFL as of this Tuesday. We got another 19 weeks of constantly updating. I can't wait to see what it's like right now compared to February or January. We're definitely going to go back and look once we get to that point a few months from now, but I wonder how much things are going to change. I do. I'm very skeptical of the Commanders and Rams. I was almost debating on taking them off, to be honest with you, and putting teams that I think are going to be in the top 10 later on in the year. But for right now, they are in the top 10 for me. So, yeah, let's move on to top 10 quarterbacks right now heading into the season. Massive one here at number 10, a massive jump up for me. I did end up taking Stafford off of the top 10. I think he's going to be injury plagued this season. I would almost bet the farm we're not going to get a full season out of Matt Stafford. I really don't think we are. Now, that being said, I don't think it's going to be to the point where he's going to be out for the whole season and not play anymore. But I think he could be missing a few games here, a few games there. That kind of season for Stafford. So it's not necessarily he plays till week 5 and he's out the rest of the year. I think it could be he plays week 4 but misses week 5 and 6, and he may come back in week 7, and then week 15 he may play and may not. So I think that's going to be the kind of season he has. So I put Bryce Young at number 10. Seriously, I think there's a ton, an absolute ton. You have Drake May, you have Caleb Williams. You could just, the list goes on of breakout quarterbacks this season. And this top 10, this number 10 spot is difficult, but what I seen out of Bryce Young last season, I really liked it. I loved it a lot. I think he's going to live up to that number 1 pick potential. I think he's going to end up being a lot better than let me not say a lot better, but better than CJ Stroud. I think at the end of last season, he was better than CJ Stroud. That's not even up for debate. You put it up for statistics, the eye test, all of it. He was better than CJ Stroud. We finally seen, okay, this is why he was taking over him in the first place. I think, and again, I said it a little over a month ago, he's my dark horse MVP candidate. I really think Bryce Young has potential to be an MVP candidate. Now, I don't think he's going to win it, of course, but I think him and Ted McMillan are going to put up big numbers. And that team is good. Like Chuba Hubbard, they did trade Adam Thielen, so their other receivers, I do love Leggett. I think Leggett could be a breakout candidate this year. Their defense, Derek Brown's back, J.C. Horn if he can play. It's a team that has some players on it that can really make some noise. So I really do like Bryce Young. At number 9, moving up a spot, I have Justin Herbert. He was number 10 last time. Again, Justin Herbert always going to put up good numbers. It's time to perform in the playoffs. We all know what's going on with Justin Herbert. They've re-signed Keenan Allen, and McConkey is a really, really good top-tier receiver. So I like that. Losing what is it? Rashawn Slater kind of hurts a little bit for him, I'm sure. But yeah, Herbert's still a top 10 quarterback. I had him at number 9. Until there's some playoff success, I can't really put him higher than that. Number 8, I do have Jordan Love. He stays where he was at last time. Jordan Love, people are kind of on the fence. People have him ranked number 12. I've seen him as low as 15 for some people. Like, people have a borderline a top 15 quarterback. He's really a boomer bust quarterback. When Jordan Love plays bad, he plays terrible. He throws 2-3 picks a game. But man, when he plays great, he's throwing 3-4 touchdowns a game and just making plays. His arm looks amazing when he's out there. Just slinging it. When he's just slinging the ball and he looks comfortable, he just looks incredible out there. People compare him to Brett Favre. Now, whether or not that's necessarily fair is up for debate, but yeah, I have Jordan Love at number 8. Number 7, moving down a spot, people are not going to like me for this, is Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts, and people get tired of hearing this, but I think it's very true, benefits a ton off of his supporting cast. I think if you were to put Jalen Hurts in the role of going to the Buffalo Bills, where there's not an A.J. Brown, you're throwing to Khalil Shakir, which is a good receiver. I'm not taking anything away from him. Definitely the Bills are less talented than the Eagles. I don't think anyone's debating that. I think if you were to switch the two quarterbacks, you may be debating Philadelphia to be 17-0. But I think we all know Josh Allen's better. But would Jalen Hurts necessarily fill that role as well? He's a running quarterback like Josh Allen is. I don't know. And that's why I have a tough time. I just think he really benefits off his roster a lot. And you say that for any quarterback. Any quarterback needs at least a decent roster to succeed. Don't care who you are. I'm not necessarily hurting him for that. But I don't know. I watch him play. He is a top 10 level quarterback. Absolutely. I'm not taking that away. But I look at the number 6 guy over him, which I moved up a spot. Interchanged them both. Just Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield elevates the talent around him. Now, whether or not, like I said, Jalen Hurts, I don't know if he necessarily elevates the talent around him, to be completely honest with you. Baker Mayfield does do that. He does have talent surrounding him. It's not that he doesn't have anyone surrounding him. There's a ton of talent on that offense. But, dude, Baker, I feel he can maybe win MVP this year. He's on a lot of people's dark horse MVP candidates. He's going to put up massive numbers. Yep. I love what I see from him when I watch Tampa. He has made that team into what was argued a couple years ago to be picking number 1 overall, to them going to the divisional round and about to beat the Lions. They were like a drive away from going to the NFC Championship, and that's pretty incredible. And a lot of that is to Baker's credit. The dude just goes out there and he makes crazy plays. He makes plays like an Allen or Lamar. He's not as big as them. I think he's a better passer than maybe both those two, to be honest with you. He is just, I was debating on putting him number 5. I think he's borderline a top 5 quarterback. Number 5, I have Jay Daniels, stays at the same spot. Spoiler alert, the top 5 is the exact same of what I had it last time. Jay Daniels, number 5, I think he's going to put up even better stats now that the running back room is even more depleted, trading Brian Robinson. He's going to put up bigger numbers, but he needs to stay healthy, though. I get afraid for him getting injured, though, without having a really sustainable running back there. I think he's been running a lot more. He's a top 5 quarterback. I'll kind of go fly through these, as we know. 4, I had Joe Burrow. I'd like to see Joe Burrow make the playoffs before I put him in the top 3. He's missed the playoffs the last few years. And while we obviously know how talented and good he is, it's time to get to the playoffs again. So I can't put him over these top 3. 3, I have Josh Allen.
Yeah, I like that.
A lot of people like Burrow over Allen, but I mean, Allen coming off an MVP year. A lot of people want him probably at 2 or number 1, but you could really interchange any of the top 3. I'm not going to put Burrow in that category because he hasn't made the playoffs in 2 years. Number 2 at Lamar Jackson. I think he's just, I watch every Ravens game because I live in a Baltimore Ravens household. But even though I'm not a Ravens fan, I live 25 minutes away from the stadium. And I'm surrounded by Ravens fans everywhere I go. So in every game that is on here is a Baltimore Ravens game. I watch him. Dude, he's absolutely just out there making plays. Would the Ravens be as good as they are without Lamar? Probably not. They'd probably still be good. They do have a really good team. but Lamar just elevates that team to a different level. And he is an all-timer. Number one, Pat Mahomes. Until Josh Allen or Lamar can beat him in the playoffs, I can't put Lamar or Josh Allen over Mahomes because they can't beat him in the playoffs. And Mahomes' teams are way less talented than the Ravens and the Bills, to be honest with you. I do like the Chiefs teams, but they're not on the level of the Ravens teams the last few years. Mahomes has been a big reason for that. That team without Mahomes is not going to the Super Bowl. I don't even know if they're making the playoffs without Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to be completely honest with you. So that's my top 10 quarterback list. Ones I do rank every single week is going to be receivers and running backs. I didn't put them on there because there's no massive injuries with the receivers or running backs. There's really no sense. It would be around the same anyway. So save that for next Tuesday. One thing I'd like to go over really, really quick is Bill Belichick last night in the University of Carolina game, the Tar Heels versus TCU. What a disaster. As a lifelong Patriots fan, seeing Bill Belichick getting out-coached by Sonny Dykes is pretty painful. It is actually pretty painful to watch. UNC is not known as a football school, but they've had some decent years, especially with Belichick, and they have some pretty okay players. Even if they lost, you wouldn't think it would be this bad. I mean, they had Michael Jordan, Lawrence Taylor, Roy Williams, countless celebrities at that game. Michael Jordan was leaving by halftime. I mean, it was over. It was just unbearable to watch, to be completely honest with you. It really was. One thing with Belichick, his staff is just not good. His staff hirings are terrible. His last few years in New England with Matt Patricia coordinating the offense, I mean, the list just goes on and on. It goes to his drafting. The last 4 years or so, Bill Belichick's staff hirings have been absolutely awful. They have been awful. He's Freddie Kitchens coaching the offense. Is the offensive coordinator there for University of North Carolina. I mean, Gio Lopez was awful last night. I think he went almost like an hour and a half without completing a pass, I think. I mean, how miserable is that to have your quarterback? 69 yards, no touchdowns to a pick. They had the opening drive where they scored, but after that, they did literally nothing. I mean, they did nothing. They lost 48-14. I like TCU. I actually think TCU is pretty decent. But I think 48-14 good over the University of North Carolina. Do you regard as one of the greatest coaches of all time? I feel bad, man, because Bill Belichick's legacy is really just taking a dive. That's only the first game of the college year, so it's not over, but it's not looking good. I mean, I really like TCU's offensive coordinator. Josh Hoover played really good yesterday. I think he's actually a really good quarterback. So, and the University of North Carolina's quarterback room, the Tar Heels quarterback room is terrible. Max Johnson, actually, I'm not going to say terrible because I think Max Johnson can be pretty good. He came in yesterday, tossed 9 for 11, 103 yards, touchdowns, no picks, and the touchdown was to his brother. That was a pretty cool moment to watch if you were even still watching. But, I mean, the defensive coordinators, of course, Steve Belichick for the Tar Heels. Offensive coordinators, Freddie Kitchens, like, I don't know, the staff is just brutal. His staffing is just bad. It is really bad. And TCU's offensive coordinator, Kendall Briles. I really like him. It's the thing that Belichick keeps reusing guys that are just really bad and don't bring any sense of life into any organization the last few years. I mean, the TCU's defensive coordinator, Indy Avelez. I mean, he was at Oregon, took him to 2 Pac-12 championships as their defensive coordinator, and then he won Coach of the Year for the Mountain West for Boise State in 2022. I mean, these are guys that have legitimate college resumes as a college coach. Anything. Bill Belichick's staffing is just brutal. I hope it changes for the Tar Heels, but yeah, man, when I seen him getting outcoached by Sonny Dykes yesterday, I was like, man, we are really heading into some tough times for some of these legends here. And Bill Belichick's one of them, man. And he's getting memed pretty hard. I mean, he's getting it pretty hard. All this stuff with like the score was about the age gap with his girlfriend or something like that. I mean, it's brutal, man. This campaign for the Tar Heels, I think, might be a one and done for Belichick. And it may be it. I mean, teams, if they have a really bad year and they just look like a disaster, what NFL team's going to want him to coach? I don't know. I mean, he's got to turn the ship around, not only for his college career, but just for his whole coaching career in general and for his legacy, because I hate seeing it for him. But yeah, last night was painful. It was painful to watch. It was. And the only word to use is just painful. I mean, it was just really bad. So praying for better times for the Tar Heels. But that's it for today's podcast. Next Tuesday we will be back on Top 10 Tuesday now with no speculations, but actual legitimate rankings off of what we see during the season, not speculations of what we think. We're here, people.